My dad's been the engineer at this radio network for years now, and you'd be surprised how in radio there's a lot of IT. It's just with a lot more audio in the path. So Dad, what are some of the big networking things that you're working on right now?
Well, one of them is the changing out from the POTS phone lines to our old digital voice system at voicemail and changing that to a new VoIP system. And we also switched over all of our audio to IP audio with Telos gear. And we want to add an isolated guest Wi-Fi network, something we've never had. And on top of that, I want to isolate different parts of the business like programming, finance, and the most critical part, the on-air audio chain. We also wanted to upgrade our security with a door access system and some cameras.
On top of all that, Dad is retired now. It's technically retired, and he wants to make it so that other people could also manage the system with levels of access control and things like that, and that he can manage everything remotely. So here's the deal. I've talked to Ubiquiti a few times in the past, and they offered to help me rebuild my network, but I don't use UniFi gear. I have a hodgepodge in my studio, and I kind of like it that way. It keeps things interesting. But I told them I'd take some of their gear and help install it somewhere else. And my dad and this radio station agreed I could help them rebuild their network ground up using UniFi gear. So today we're going to cover the first part, and I'll have a separate video at some point up on my main channel covering like Ubiquiti and the UniFi gear overall. But on Gearling Engineering, we'll have a few videos covering an entire network rebuild thanks to Ubiquiti. So I see that you have like a door set up here, like a virtual door.
Yep.
And that was a neat thing that I saw that you had set up over in the studio.
Yeah. Well, I always, but when I get a big project, I try to put all the pieces together, get them working, learn the administration part, learn the user end, even train people on them before we actually put them out in production.
And one of the goals that we had was like to see how far can you get with UniFi without ever plugging it into the internet, and we got pretty far.
We did get pretty far. I was hoping we started getting things talking to each other. We started getting devices added and cameras and security, but it was surprising. One of the first things we had was that mobile router industrial gateway unit, which you look like you had to get an account to log in just to open it up so you could actually log into it as a router and manage it. It didn't make sense to me, but it is a way to get familiar with their paid service, which is not a bad deal, like that paid service to keep an eye on all of them. But for our purposes, that was an odd one. And then the other part was I tried to get 2 boxes to connect the remote gateway, the cloud gateway, to the Beast, and I finally gave up and I got the online account, and it took like 5 minutes.
I know also the access and protect required us to do a few downloads. So
yeah, that was the only one. The other programs updated on their own without any account. I didn't have to have a login account to the system, but that one did, and we got that all set up. And the problem is once you do, it's like everything feels connected to the internet. You get the apps, and it takes you all in.
One of the first parts of this whole process was upgrading some of the wiring, and I see there's still a couple ceiling tiles that are out.
Yeah, we have the ceiling tiles out because we had to run cable. I elected to pull from the far end and pull all the cables into here, so we made the various length cables. We laid them out on the ground and we pulled them up across the ceiling and came back down this hall and into the area that's defined as the network closet and other things.
It's more like the storage closet with some networking stuff.
Exactly. So anyway, we pulled all that back and ran it through the ceiling tiles, and we've got still a few up because we've got the last run or two for the VoIP system to make. And then all of them were pre-cut, and then we spread them out sideways from there.
I know you also found some surprising things up there too.
Yes, and I think anyone who's worked in a ceiling that's been around for a while has surprises they see in the ceiling. And in our case, we saw a bunch of ductwork that I don't know what it does, but it was disconnected to some pieces and connected to others. We had a board up there that looked like an old telephone board with the pegs on it to put your wires through, which you old timers will know about that. And the 2 wires that went up through the rooftop return air unit outside for the AM antenna system that used to work probably 20 years ago, and the little plastic buckets that caught the water that came in because of that. And I found an old firewall, like an old firewall that's still in use, and it requires no power.
Like a real firewall.
A real
not like
firewall that stops fires.
But apparently that was like gypsum, like
plasterboard
pressed into bricks or something.
But no asbestos. We checked that out right away when we found out what it was.
Well, maybe in the grout, but we won't look too closely.
Yeah.
And looking up at this fun angle, I know one of the pictures you sent, you were showing a pulling pal,
Yes.
which I had gotten for pulling some cables in MySpace.
Yeah, those are cool. If you use them right, you can do a lot of pulling of a long length of cable with just without 3 or 4 guys pushing it along. You can have yourself or a second guy feeding it in to make sure it doesn't get tangled. Pull to one of those to another one and turn to another one, and it's great. It's really good.
And I know once you got all the cables in, you pulled down the bundle, you unwrapped everything, and you started punching it down. And one thing is I saw this old Ortronics Cat 5e punch block. We're putting in some like 2.5 and potentially 10 gig things. And do you think that's going to hold up?
Well, Cat 5e. I'm going with Cat 5e. But one day if I had to change it all to Cat 6, I would do it. So that's just a bunch of easier punch downs than using that. So
I think I gave you one of my old Cat 6
I have
punch
that.
blocks too.
I have that over by my desk right now.
Oops.
Pondering. If I have too many problems with this, it's going in.
You might notice that there's a few parts in here, like there's a 5G Max up there, and we have the UPS tower over here, and some other components of the system are in place. What we basically did after all the cabling was we brought all the networking stuff, we packed it up from the studio, we brought it over here, and we started putting things in. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see how the rest of this progression goes. We have a lot of the equipment running, but it's not fully configured, it's not fully in place and like taking over all of the audio system and all that stuff yet. I know you're still doing some testing on that.
Why is that pointing up?
And it's in a weird orientation here, but we have more information about all that stuff. But I guess one question we have is what kind of things do you want to hear about specifically? We're going to talk about all the setup, but if there's anything in particular from the Telos audio to VoIP to whatever, let us know in the comments what you want to hear about mostly. And I saw that you're configuring a bunch of VLANs. How many VLANs do you think we're going to have by the end of this?
Setting a personal record. I don't know how many people have set up, but I'm going to set up 7 VLANs.
That's more than I have. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one.